that on this particular day, we were supposed to have our hearing at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Instead, it wasn't until like 8 p.m. Like they were trying to compete with you for like ratings, I guess.
Why?
C-SPAN. C-SPAN trying to get it up. But nevertheless, what it was is that they had gone to New York because they wanted to be by Trump's side as he was in trial.
So you had to wait for them?
So we had to wait for them to come back.
Sitting right there. That's his thing now. Anytime a world leader shows up, right off the bat, they have to apologize for whatever slight President Drama Queen has created in his head. Putin will get a back rub if he ever comes.
In a scathing, no-holds-barred live TV takedown, Jasmine Crockett and Jimmy Kimmel absolutely tore into Donald Trump, leaving the former president squirming under the weight of their combined wit and insight. This wasn't your typical roast. This was a full-on public humiliation, a dismantling of Trump's persona and his actions that left little room for defense. From his
I agree that there are problems in our communities, but usually it's some white supremacists on the other side, and he has yet to call them out. As it relates to him being a liar, I mean, that's just what it is. The problem is that we have people that are absolutely listening to him, and that is the scary part. Even those people that are in need in North Carolina or Georgia or Tennessee or whatever state, Florida, that they're in need, they literally are harming themselves because he does not have the ability to tell the truth about what it takes to get help, and he thinks is going to help him in the campaign. And at the end of the day, you cannot say that you're a leader when you're absolutely seeking to harm.
Numerous legal troubles to his embarrassing moments on the world stage, Kimmel and Crockett expertly pulled apart the many layers of the man once dubbed the leader of the free world. The drama began with a tense situation, as Trump's meeting with President Zelensky of Ukraine and his ongoing trials delayed the start of the hearing that was scheduled for 11 a.m. By the time it actually began, it was 8 p.m., and the count delay was seen as a deliberate attempt to steal the spotlight. Instead of focusing on the pressing political issues at hand, Trump's supporters in the media were busy playing to his ego, boosting ratings in a clear attempt to garner attention. But Crockett and Kimmel weren't having any of it. Jasmine Crockett, who's known for her unapologetic approach to justice, took the floor with an undeniable sense of urgency.
And instead, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You gonna learn a few lessons from us. And I'm gonna be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right?
Come on.
She didn't just come prepared with facts. She came prepared to expose the truth about Trump's reign. She called out the former president for his many lies and his complete disregard for the truth. One of the most potent moments of the evening came when she pointed out the way Trump's behavior was contributing to division in the country. His influence, particularly in states like North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, was not helping those in need, but instead leading them to make decisions that would hurt them in the long run. Jasmine didn't mince words, stating, "You cannot say that you're a leader when you're seeking to harm people," directly addressing Trump's misguided policies and actions. She made it clear that his leadership was based on a foundation of lies and misinformation. As Trump continued to spread conspiracy theories and misinformation,
thought that it was okay to just tell the truth. Instead, we're pushing conspiracy theories, and some of them are killing people. It's the same thing that we have coming out of Doge. It's the reason that people are dying. It's the reason that farmers are losing their farms, because we continue to peddle conspiracy theories. It is time for us to say, Mr. President, guess what? Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that one? Facts matter. Yo, this is literally potentially putting us into an international crisis. We may be heading towards the next world war because we have a president that wants to pal around with Putin and wants to do everything to make him feel good, including lying about who invaded who.
Crockett was there, calling him out at every turn, refusing to allow him to manipulate the narrative. Meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel, the master of late-night satire, joined the fray, adding a layer of comedic brilliance to the proceedings. For years, Kimmel has made Trump the butt of his jokes, but this segment took it to a whole new level. Kimmel's relentless mockery of Trump's presidency and post-presidency served as both a commentary and a reflection on how absurd the entire situation had become. From the fast food banquets to the infamous Sharpie edits on hurricane maps, Kimmel's comedic genius was on full display as he reminded the audience just how ridiculous Trump's time in office really was. But it wasn't just for laughs. Kimmel used humor to highlight the deeply disturbing...
Donald Trump was not at the Oscars, but he and J.D. Vance are already frontrunners for next year after their performance on Friday in the Oval Office. As I'm sure you know, the meeting with Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine is about as embarrassing as it gets. This might have been Trump's most mortifying moment yet. And this is a guy who suggested we inject bleach into our body.
Aspects of Trump's leadership. Kimmel's razor-sharp observations had the audience in stitches, but they also forced them to confront uncomfortable truths about the former president. He mocked Trump's obsession with crowd sizes, playing clip after clip of Trump's self-absorbed speeches where he boasted about the biggest, best crowds, only to later show footage of empty chairs at his rallies, underscoring the disconnection between Trump's self-image and the reality of his diminishing influence. Kimmel wasn't just mocking Trump's public persona, he was exposing the lies that fueled it. Kimmel didn't shy away from addressing Trump's continuous attempts to evade accountability. Every time Trump made a ridiculous claim, like insisting he didn't know anything about classified documents, Kimmel was there to point out the absurdity. "Bless his heart," Crockett quipped, rolling her eyes at Trump.
Give it a minute. Donald Trump, I know he ran saying he's going to lower prices, make everybody rich. It's not like he promised he would do it all on day one.
Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. We'll do that. I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. On day one, I will begin to reverse the disastrous effects of Biden's inflation. Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
Well, that's... Let's see. Kimmel, what are we on? What day are we on?
Day 37.
Oh, that's not day one. And how much do a dozen eggs cost?
Too much.
Trump's futile attempts to escape the consequences of his actions. The night became a brutal back and forth between the two as Crockett and Kimmel weaved through Trump's many legal troubles and the chaos surrounding his presidency. Trump's entire defense was systematically dismantled by Crockett, who effortlessly fact-checked his numerous claims. When Trump claimed to have saved healthcare, she reminded the world of his repeated efforts to destroy the Affordable Care Act. When he bragged about creating the best economy, Crockett pointed to the growth under Obama as a clear contradiction.
His name, he's riveted to it.
No. And he's relying on the people that absolutely pulled it together.
Like J.D. Vance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. I mean, I think that there are those that just said, I want to do something different.
Yeah.
And so we know that typically when people are feeling it, especially in the economy, they tend to just go the other way.
Why?
The problem is that this wasn't the guy to fix anything. This is the guy that is the king of breaking things, as we can.
To Trump's self-glorification. And when Trump attempted to position himself as the most persecuted politician in history, she pointed out that real leaders had faced far worse. Some had even been assassinated, while Trump whined about the consequences of his own actions.
And so to decide that we were going to cast judgment on what he was feeling as the president decided to get up there and lie, as we know he always does, and say that he had a mandate. We know that he did not run on this idea of cutting out Medicaid or cutting Social Security. In fact, every time we said it, the Republicans said that we were lying. Every time we said that they were looking to Project 2025, they said we were lying. And now we know that the liar in chief did exactly what he's always done, which is lied. And for whatever reason, the American people did not trust us when we told them exactly what was going on.
This was not just a legal battle. It was a battle for truth. Jasmine Crockett and Jimmy Kimmel made sure the world saw Trump for what he really was, a man addicted to approval and desperate to escape responsibility for his actions. Kimmel's sincere, biting humor and Crockett's unwavering legal expertise were the perfect combination, showing the public the true nature of a man who sought power but couldn't handle the consequences of his own decisions. As the night progressed, the duo turned. their attention to Trump's foreign policy failures.
I guess they were trying to build anticipation or distract us from the 200 horrible things they did today. Or maybe, I don't know, they had to let the documents dry after fishing them out of Trump's toilet. I don't know. What I do know is they just finally came out at like 7:30. There are 80,000 pages of files. Just to put that in perspective.
Particularly his relationship with Putin. Kimmel and Crockett exposed how Trump was willing to cozy up to dictators and undermine American allies, not for the good of the nation, but to satisfy his own ego. Kimmel cleverly pointed out how Trump's delusions of grandeur led him to make foreign policy decisions that benefited himself rather than the American people. And as Kimmel reminded the audience of Trump's blunders on the world stage, it became evident.
Back to plastic straws. These things don't work. I've had them many times, and on occasion they break, they explode. If something's hot, they don't last very long, like a matter of minutes, sometimes a matter of seconds. It's a ridiculous situation.
Wait a minute. I'm with them on it not lasting very long, but they explode?
That Trump's need for validation was not just a personal flaw, it was a dangerous liability for the country. But it wasn't just Trump's actions that were called into question. Melania Trump, the silent partner in this political circus, also found herself in the crosshairs. Kimmel played footage of Melania's most infamous moments: the hand swats, the "I don't really care, do you?" jacket, and her signature stoic expression. Kimmel's humor cut deep as he painted a picture of Melania as a woman trapped in a situation that was beyond her control. While Trump was busy causing chaos, Melania remained a passive observer, offering just enough support to fulfill her role as First Lady, but never getting too close to the madness. Her public persona was a carefully crafted image of neutrality, one that allowed her to survive the Trump chaos without getting directly involved. But behind the facade, Kimmel suggested, they're
very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down
on than meets the eye. As the segment reached its peak, Crockett and Kimmel left the audience with one final thought. Trump's presidency wasn't just a joke, it was a dangerous spectacle that threatened the very foundation of American democracy. Crockett's hard-hitting legal insights and Kimmel's comedic genius had revealed the truth. Trump's policies were disastrous, his ego was destructive, and his leadership was a threat to national security. The night ended with a sense of closure, but the question lingered. How did we ever let this man get so close to the highest office in the land? Trump's need for validation, his obsession with power, and his disregard for the truth had led to one of the most disastrous presidencies in modern history. But thanks to Jasmine Crockett and Jimmy Kimmel, the truth was finally laid bare, and America had seen Trump for what he truly was: a man unfit for office, a man whose legacy would be defined by